put in charge of the media operation. He's the guy that engineered it. He's the guy that thought of all these things.
Houston Chronicle reporter Harvey Rice watched him in action.
He was nothing more than a political commissar. I mean, this is straight out of Stalin. And that's what he was there for. He was there to make sure the military, and as he put it in his first, he said, I'm here to keep them on message. So he was running the information about the war like a political campaign.
After the war, Wilkinson was brought back into the White House and then picked to run media at the 2004 Republican convention.
A missile attack on a residential section of Baghdad that killed 14 civilians. Can you confirm that?
So we think it's entirely possible that this may have been, in fact, an Iraqi missile that either went up and came down.
War watchers may remember media writer Michael Wolff challenging media briefers at the Central Command.
Which is, why should we stay? What's the value to us for what we learn at this $1 million press center?
Wolff was later told to shut the fuck up by a military briefer.
And sometimes it's your jaw drops, and it's hard to figure out why. Why are American journalists so maybe not even uncritical, self-satisfied, I think is the word.
So the first day of the war, it's on CNN where they've got this bank of cameras there, and everybody goes in there watching explosions and tanks rolling across and guys with M16s, M14s, and we go, is the war started? And these PR guys there, and the one guy I talked to, he said, I'm sorry, I can't talk to you about that. I don't want to endanger the lives of our boys. I said, but it's on television.
If you can give the media more content than they can handle, and as far away from the battlefield as possible, they will focus their energies where the source of that fire hose is. So Doha is the center of the fire hose. And the idea is that you simply have press conferences every day, and every once in a while you throw a little tidbit out, you hand out videotapes, free coffee, whatever, so that if you leave, you're going to miss the story that everybody else is covering. Fire hose coverage and fire hose delivery blots out all the secondary source.
It looks like, wow, they're really being forthcoming and they're answering questions. But these answers that they were giving were meaningless. They weren't telling us really anything about what was going on in the war other than just vague generalities.
My research of the threads of stories from the war, which takes it from the beginning through the end, the way they were created, the way they were used, the way they were repeated, that research leads me to say that there were 50 or 60 stories that were either created or manipulated for the purposes of distorting the truth.
Gardner cited false stories, like the link between Saddam and al-Qaeda, as well as the Jessica Lynch story, which the BBC also debunked.
What were the two narratives?
The American narrative, as well known, is the great hero the great heroine who was captured under fire, who was then taken to hospital, potentially mistreated. American Special Forces went in, all guns blazing, rescued her against hostile fire. There was no resistance. The Iraqi doctors had been caring for her, given the circumstances, as well as could have been. And a lot of the more dramatic elements of this story may have been embellished.
That story ended up hanging around for about a week, and that's why she's called a hero. Well, it turns out all of that was wrong. When Rumsfeld was asked about this the next day, he refused to comment on it, although I know he knew that she had not been shot, stabbed, and emptied her weapon on the bad guys. So it hung around.